Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comedian, host of Bachelor Recap, a Guy's Review. This is a breaking news story about upcoming Bachelorette of 2021, and spoiler alert, it is not Heather Martin. You know, I try to throw you guys off because here's what happens. I blur out the thumbnail so you can't see who the new Bachelorette is in case you don't want to see it. But what YouTube does is when you hover your little pointer over a video, it'll start playing a preview to that video, and then you get spoiled anyway. I'm so wanting to not spoil you if you don't want to be spoiled that I decided to lead off with this red herring, which is Heather Martin, not the Bachelorette. She is just being done dirty by the Bachelor producers for whatever reason we don't know. Somebody's got her as an enemy. But I'm about to share with you guys the new information about who the next Bachelorette will be. Pardon me. Throat's a little sore today. Wasn't planning on making this video. Really wasn't planning on getting this info out. But as we know, the Bachelorette is set to start filming in several weeks in New Mexico. So here's Reality Steve releasing who the update is on the new Bachelor. And as we know, I'm about to play this for you. As we know, Reality Steve broke the story that Katie would be introduced as the Bachelorette on Women Tell All, and then he found out it wasn't announced on Women Tell All, but the decision was made to make Katie the Bachelorette. Days later, because I think this info dropped around the Super Bowl, early February, way back in the day. So much has happened since then. Days later, Chris Harrison's interview with Rachel Lindsay went awry, rerouting, not the way you wanted it to go, looking for your destination. And because of that, people were saying, oh, well, there's no way Katie can still be the Bachelorette. They're clearly going to want to save face and go with someone else, but we don't know who it is. So anyway, Reality Steve says the next Bachelorette is back to Katie. Can you believe this, guys? This is what Reality Steve just posted on the hour. He said, spoiler. By the way, how do you say spoiler and then include the spoiler? And, you know, there's no... what if you didn't want it to be spoiled? Anyway, who knows? The more things change, the more they stay the same. The original spoiler I reported seems to be correct. Katie Thurston is set to be announced as the Bachelorette in the coming days. There you have it, folks. Well, isn't that interesting? You know what I mean? Very, very interesting. So they're going to double down on Katie Thurston. Now, here's why this made up. By the way, look at this. Trending in California. It's raining. I love it. Doesn't rain often here, folks. We have a nice rainy day today. It's already sunny out. It's already over. You can't get Chris Harrison canceled on Twitter, but you can trend and say it's raining. Real big things there. Anyway, I digress. So someone had posted, I haven't seen one guy attracted to her, LMAO. Are you kidding me? I think she's beautiful. Look at it. She puts, oh, that's not her. We're going to get to that in a second. Hold on, folks. Look at her in her little black dress there. She got the little Tarzan strap. It's beautiful. Gorgeous. She's smart, sassy. A lot of people say, well, she was the one who kind of like was bullying and started it, and then she called it out. She seems to have emotional intelligence to know when she's crossed the line, willing to apologize and move forward, and she has a sense of humor. I think she's a good pick. Now, that's not wrong one. Sorry, guys. Whoa, finger happy. Speaking of finger happy, she's going to bring MJ. Hey, folks. So here's the deal. I don't know. I'm not, it's one of those things. There's always great choices for the Bachelorette. Michelle would be a great choice. Michelle is dang gorgeous. I don't know what happens. I don't know why she's not the choice. I've said this in recent days. I think the Bachelorette should be, there should be several Bachelorettes. They should have a little like party of a couple close friends, and then they get to choose which guys they like. Wouldn't that be fun? Why can't they do that? What's stopping them, from having a couple extra bachelorettes? Get one of those power strips so they can all plug in their hair pieces, because God knows women love, not hair pieces, their hair, what do they call them? Their power tools they use, their hair blow dryer, straightener. Don't get me wrong. Listen, I've, traveled with my fiance. She brings a whole suitcase full of electrical devices. We've lost power in the Ritz-Carlton before because, Ritz-Carlton, who am I kidding? The Econo Lodge before, because she can't plug in a hair straightener while I use the microwave. All right, but we're moving on. So this is very fascinating. Very fascinating. What a few comments. Someone says, justice for Abigail. She's got her justice. She went home. She can find a real man. She wasn't going to find one on the season nor on this franchise. We just had Tayshia, and now we have had Matt. Both did great, and I really enjoyed their seasons, but I have to ask, when will everyone's complaining stop? Katie stood up to the toxic women. She'll do well. We don't have to have a minority as a lead every season moving forward. It's complicated, right, folks? It's complicated because it's not just about having, having diversity on the show isn't just about having a lead who is diverse. It's about the producers, the editors, the people that make decisions on the show. It's about diversity there. So we'll have to see what happens. As Reality Steve tweeted right after this, he said, a lot going on behind the scenes in Bachelor Nation, more coming tomorrow. So we'll have to see what happens. I believe tomorrow, what he is speaking of is the Chris Harrison interview. Will we find out that Chris Harrison says he's stepping down for the season? We'll have to see. I'm really not sure what's going to happen. I know Reality Steve has advocated for Chris Harrison either being fired or quitting the show. Not me. I want more conversation. I think that's more important. What's interesting, we'll go over here to Rachel Lindsay. Ex-Bachelorette Rachel Lindsay says, by the way, it's not ex, it's former Bachelorette. You make it sound like she got fired. Ex-Bachelorette Rachel Lindsay says franchise shouldn't film until Chris Harrison controversy is resolved. I mean, I guess she's married now, so maybe she is an ex-Bachelorette, but either way. So Rachel Lindsay, the first ever black star of The Bachelorette, is calling out the ABC franchise for staying silent as the ongoing racial controversy involving host Chris Harrison and the Bachelor contestant Rachel Kirkconnell continues to spiral. They're about to go into production for The Bachelorette. Lindsay, who starred as a Bachelorette in 2017, said on the podcast, "I think they should just stop until they get the train back on the tracks. You're going to go another season, but you still have all these issues. How have you fixed them coming into a new season? You haven't. I think that they need to take a beat, figure things out, regroup, and then bring the production back to us in a way that we can all enjoy it like we used to." Listen, very fascinating and great perspective. My thought is, by choosing Katie Thurston as the Bachelorette, does this mean Chris Harrison stepping aside, or stepping down, I should say? Because think about it, if they had to choose between who they want as a lead and who they want as a host, I don't think they can. It's a little complicated because we're talking about different different skin colors here with Michelle, Katie, potentially Bree. We're talking about just different ethnic backgrounds here. People have called for Chris Harrison to be fired, and they've called for change within the show. So does the Bachelor Nation, and excuse me for like being a little befuddled here as I figure this out, but does the Bachelor Nation, do the Bachelor producers think that by getting rid of Chris Harrison, that they can then go forward with Katie Thurston? Maybe he stays around on a producer role. I'm not sure. Because if they keep Chris Harrison, and this is just judging from the public outcry, but if they keep Chris Harrison around, and then they also decide to go with Katie Thurston, there might be some trouble there. Because a lot of people have said behind the scenes that there's no way they're going to keep Katie after all the news broke, that they're just going to try to save face. Because that's essentially what they were trying to do. They were trying to save face and go with somebody else. I don't know why they wouldn't go with Michelle, assuming she doesn't win this whole thing. Maybe she's with Matt James, But I don't know why they wouldn't go with Michelle, because she's a rock star. And the reason that people were upset about it being Katie, who I do like, I think she'd be great. But the reason people are upset is that she finished 11th. And generally, they pick someone who finished 3rd or 4th. Usually, it's someone who finishes 3rd, because whoever finishes 2nd means they pretty much just got stood up. They go right into production, and it's kind of one of those things like, is your heart still broken? Hard to do unless you're Becca Kuffer, and she's like, F that guy, I'm moving on. You know what I mean? She's like, oh yeah, I just got dumped by Ari, so I think I'm going to move on. And then she chose Garrett. So, be careful who you pick. You got to go for it. But anyhow, let me know what you guys think about this one. It's interesting to me, the people that sided with the toxic crew over Katie, because I don't know if we watched the same show, but I watched a show where Katie was willing to talk to Sarah Trott after Katie was one of the bullies, but Katie said, oh, okay, I went too far. And it's very important to see how we judge people when they realize they've gone too far and what they do about it. Plenty of people would have said, I went too far, I'm sticking with it, F that girl, blah, blah, blah. But Katie goes, I went too far. We really shouldn't be doing this women on women hating. It's already hard enough, for what we have to go through. She talks to Sarah Trott, finds out her story. They have that one scene. It's one of the best scenes that's ever been played on The Bachelor, if you ask me. Katie Thurston, Sarah Trott, talking about their issues with their dads and the issues with dealing with health problems within the family. And I mean, it was a tearjerker. It really was a tearjerker. And you really saw the compassion that's there. So to think that someone has the emotional intelligence with humor, but also with her empathy, I think this is a solid pick. Here's one last thing I'll play, which I found this the other day. Contestants' Women Tell All outfit hint towards possible Bachelorette. Now, we know Katie, one of the things people love about her is that they've seen some of the clothes she wears. So when Katie says, let me just Google this. Katie Thurston, thank you for your feedback, Giphy. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this, but I'm gonna have a hard time finding it. So if we go to here, let me go to Giphy here. Giphy or Jiffy? How do you pronounce this? If you go to Katie Bachelor, maybe that's why I shouldn't have said her last name. Everyone knows him by first name only. She does this. Thank you for your feedback, and she grabs her little shorts and whatever. But people would talk about what she was wearing, and it was like she said she bought a lot of thrift store dresses, $8 purchases. In a world where everyone's wearing their expensive outfits and this and that, she really did come off as like the common woman. Just a common in the sense that she's like everyone's best friend, the girl you can talk to, just really cool, thrifting and all that. So this is where it's interesting over here is that the Style Spotter, I get my style from the Style Spotter, mentioned what she was wearing in the Women Tell All. $850 dress, Irv Ledger, new icon, one shoulder bandage dress, not bondage, bandage. Well, it depends how you tie that thing down. Okay. And then we flip through here. She's got $348 Stuart Weitzman nudist song, sandal in black suede. So she's spending a pretty penny here. So, and again, maybe she's got money, but also if she's being dressed by, let's go to the comments here. Let's go to the top comments. Not that I think Katie is still going to be Bachelorette, but and again, this is a day old, so a lot changes in a day. Not that I think Katie is still going to be Bachelorette, but I was wondering if at the time of the filming, she was heavily being thought of to be the Bachelorette like people have guessed. I saw something on the sub once about the potential Bachelorette being styled by production. When I was looking through the women's clothes for the Women Tell All, I was completely shocked that Katie not only had the most expensive dress, but also most expensive shoes. Being someone that follows Katie, I know she talked a lot that the dresses she brought on the show, they were mostly from thrift shops or borrowed from friends. So I can't imagine her owning or borrowing from friends something as expensive as these. Anyway, there it is, folks. So a lot of questions going on. A lot of questions. What do you guys think? Leave a comment. I don't know how much pride Reality Steve puts into his sources, but he does seem to be the guy who doesn't get this wrong often. So he hasn't had it leaked to him that it's going to be anyone else. And filming is set to start in like 2 dang weeks. So who's going to New Mexico? Is it Katie Thurston? It looks like she's back on, guys. Let me know what y'all think. Leave a comment, and we'll see you all later on.